Can they really listen to you through your phone? This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by our MacVoices holiday gift guides. Whether you are looking for gift ideas for others or products to spend those holiday gift cards on, our MacVoices holiday gift guide panels feature some of the guests' favorite gear and why they recommend it. Find all of our holiday gift guides at macvoices.com/holiday gift guides. All one word, holiday gift guides. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. A company recently bragged about its ability to compromise your privacy through your phone. Let's go back and let the panel do the talking. One other interesting topic I think that was fun that came up this week. There was an organization out there that were advertising the fact that they could listen to your conversations on your phone, and that's why you should sign up with them to advertise your product.
Okay.
Brittany, this is an audio. Brittany, this is an audio podcast. You can't just stick your tongue out. You got to comment.
As soon as I can form words, sure.
Our friend Peter Cohen wrote this too.
Yeah, I know. Which is another reason I wanted to make sure we touched on it. But it's like, why? Even if you could do that, why would you advertise that?
Well, leave it to Cox. I mean, Cox is another this despicable cable company like Spectrum and Xfinity.
Now, of course, the question becomes iPhone or Android, and it seemed pretty clear that the commentary was about Android.
It seems it.
So here's another reason to get an iPhone and not, you can get blue bubbles and you aren't going to have your conversations overheard.
Cox. Cox.
With an X,
What?
Jeff, with an X.
What?
Oh.
Yes, their name should be bleeped out.
No matter how you spell it. It's just crappy business
they did
practice.
pick their own name in Jeff's defense.
Yeah. You're asking for it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is completely unethical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Ben, not only is it unethical, but that's one level of it. But the stupidity of going out and bragging about this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if I say, gee, my shoes are wearing out, and I suddenly get flooded with ads for shoes, why would you, even if you could deliver that, why would you put that up on a website and brag about it?
I'll tell you what. Oh, Ben, go ahead.
I don't know, but what this says is I never want to do business with this company because they're completely insecure.
Don't worry, you won't have to because they're on the West Coast. And well, like Brian just said, that's his ISP.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want the ISP gods to give me bad internet right now.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably listening in on Brian right now.
Oh, no.
Chuck, we all get how horrible this is. Most of the world gets how horrible this is. And it's been said unethical. But here's the thing. If you are really trying to find every possible way to get all the data about your potential customers so that you can provide the most effective targeted marketing, being able to pick keywords out of what people are saying, the conversations they're having, that is super useful. I'm not saying it's right to do it, but it is super useful. So if you're in a position where you want to sell your advertising services to a wider audience or to a wider group of potential customer clients, you want to be able to show that you offer something that your competitors don't, so that you bring in more of that advertising revenue. And this, for a lot of companies, is just like manna from heaven. It's still horribly wrong and horribly unethical, and they should have watched Jurassic Park, so they saw the line. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And here we are.
I have the
go ahead,
bigger problem. Regular people already think that their device is listening to them, no matter what platform they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And my problem with this and making it public is now they can go, oh, that's it. That's the problem. And not worry about all of the other unbelievably intrusive ways data is being collected about them, just because the listening to has a bigger ick factor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other ways are just as bad.
But Jeff, I have to go back to the stupidity factor. Say that we have the best keyword, gathering, or the best keyword targeting. But why would you tell anybody that, yeah, we have apps out there that are listening to all the conversations and gathering up those keywords? I mean, first of all, it would be kind of a trade secret, you would think. That I mean, this is where I think whoever was running this company, or whoever put out that statement, they should be fired and never allowed to work anywhere again, except maybe, pumping gas. I mean,
in case you missed it, they're cocks. Jeff said it already.
Right. and Chuck, Cox pulled that from their site after people started talking about this.
And
Cox pulled out?
God.
This is why I love you, Brittany.
I don't think Chuck does. I was going to make a comment because there was an update into the article at the bottom. I'm getting derailed this quick. Because Google did reach out to them with a statement, and of course they say, for years Android has prevented apps from collecting audio, and they've not been actively used. And whenever an app activates a device's microphone, there's a prominent icon displayed on the status bar. Okay, but you don't deny the fact that you've been doing it. Mm-hmm. And Apple's has been requiring permission since iOS 7 in 2013. So
I kind of have the opposite question. How do they think they could keep this secret? How do companies think,
they weren't trying to keep it secret.
It was out there until it got archived.
Have thousands of, but companies are always doing these weird things, and it's like they have thousands of employees. And, you could see where, the people on the board might not announce it, but, there's disgruntled employees out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would not be
and I'm surprised one of them didn't leak it before Cox did.
Right.
Yeah, and oh, Ben.
Good Lord, Jeff.
Yeah, these puns.
Oh, that wasn't intentional. Okay, anyhow.
No, the company.
Chuck, this is on you for bringing the story.
Thank you very much.
You're the one that whipped this one out.
Yeah.
Oh
my.
Oh.
Yes.
And episode has really gone downhill.
Yes.
We were doing so great for the first hour. And
Jim, you had to jinx us, didn't you?
Yeah, and next in Teenage Corner, we will be talking about new images of a certain gas giant planet.
There's a ring around that one too.
So let me say that Eric Bowden couldn't be here tonight. He had some business obligations, but it would not be a holiday party without Eric giving us a face palm. This last story, Eric gave us a face palm in the chat room. So Eric, sorry you couldn't be here. Thank you for that. You just made my holiday.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
Just a couple other little things here to talk about. We talked, I guess, about some certain social media things that have been going on in the last couple of weeks. I thought this one is important to David and I because we both publish magazines on Flipboard. But apparently now Flipboard is going to start going to the Fediverse as well. And if you don't know what Flipboard is, it's an application that will take web pages or RSS feeds or whatever and create almost a graphical magazine-like representation of them so that you can flip through the news, sort of like you might have done in an old-style magazine, but obviously distributed electronically. And so just the fact that they're moving to the Fediverse now, who else was – someone else I've forgotten now who was promoting that they were going to start – Threads. Threads was going to start going to the Fediverse. Or I don't know, what's the proper term? Accessing, posting to, interacting with? I don't know.
Yeah. Integrating, if we're lucky.
They're going to start federating is, I think, the word.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That's the verb. It's federate.
Yeah. So
federating.
Is this a big deal? Are we seeing an actual move toward an evolution in social media? Or is this just, again, some of the small fry trying to compete with X?
Well, Threads ain't small fry.
Yeah.
Jim, I've heard so many arguments about that as to whether they are or aren't.
It's part of Meta. I don't see how
it's part of Meta. They're automatically not small fry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but Britt, the arguments I was hearing, and I thought they were very interesting, was that Threads is not making the cultural impact that X even still is. That it's not where news organizations are going. It's not where brands are necessarily going. There's some are going, but not everybody. And so that's why I consider it still small fry. I don't hear anything breaking on Threads or saying, oh, you got to go to Threads for this or Threads for that. But I still do hear it about X.
Chuck, we have a group problem here. And I'm not talking about just us. I'm talking about like all the big group of people that are really into social media, following social media, and they've forgotten that it takes time. And it's not flip a switch and you're just suddenly a full grown social media platform that everyone has adopted. Now, Threads is growing much faster comparatively than other social media platforms when they started. Like right now, I haven't looked at the numbers actually this month, but the last time I looked, Threads, like in November, they were consistently over 10 million active users, and how many social media platforms in the what is it? It's about a year now for Threads. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
How many social media platforms have been able to hit 10 million active users in a year?
Isn't it only 4 or 5 months? It was over the summer, I thought.
Yeah, it's
over the
4
summer.
or 5
Oh,
months.
holy crap! That's even better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call it 6 months. In 6 months, 10 million active users a month. That's absolutely crazy. Now, do you see all the media there right now? No, but you're seeing more people go, and more media is showing up. And some of the local media people that I followed on X back when it was Twitter, when I was still active there, I'm seeing them show up on Threads now. Yeah. So it's starting to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to accelerate because Meta is finally rolling out the Threads API at about the same time as ActivityPub support. I can't talk today.
It's been a long year, Ben. I totally get it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too much eggnog, man.
It's good.
Jeff,
it's good.
I don't disagree, and listen, I'm not challenging it. I think it is fascinating to see the jousting that's going on between all the social media platforms, and recognizing that there are only so many there's only so much time you can spend on social media if you're going to have any kind of other life. So you kind of have to pick and choose, and that's what intrigues me. That Blue Sky, has not had a better uptick, even though it's probably the closest thing to a Twitter clone. Although Threads looks like it's starting to go in that direction. Or excuse me, X clone, X form. If Mark Puccio was here, he'd say X, formerly Twitter.
Well, Chuck, on your clone thing, I think it's okay to say a Twitter clone, because Twitter and X are not the same thing. Even though the product that is currently X started as Twitter, by the time the name change happened, that was not Twitter.
Are you talking? Are you talking feature sets, Jeff? Are you talking attitude? Are you talking?
I'm talking feature
curation?
set and
community.
Thank you, community. Yeah, feature set and community had changed dramatically by the time Twitter was renamed as X. So I look at Twitter as one thing, X is one thing. And like, I'm adamant about not dead naming, but we're talking about two different things here in this case.
Okay. Brian?
Also, I'm okay with not having a Twitter clone. We don't need Twitter clones. We need new platforms that evolve in their own way, and they might have some features that were like Twitter, but we're talking about microblogging, so they're all going to have features that were like that. So I think it would be more accurate to say it's not another Twitter, it's another microblog platform. Twitter and now X, also microblog platforms. So look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we're at just about a year and a half ago, we were pretty much at a point where Twitter was synonymous with microblogging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now it's a much, much, much different landscape.
Okay, that's fair.
We just don't really know what's going to happen, which, it's interesting because, for a decade, Twitter was it, and there was no other activity. And every now and then somebody would be like, these things in Twitter suck, or maybe they'd try to do something else, but nothing would happen. And now all of a sudden, this has become a vibrant field where there's a lot of action, and what it's going to look like 5 years from now, nobody knows.
Brian?
I was going to say, I had a customer service issue the other day. A streaming service that I use wasn't loading properly, and I knew I wanted to try to get immediate support and try to resolve the issue. Personally, I've been enjoying using Mastodon for most of my catching up, and especially with tech news and things of that nature. I've been finding that Mastodon's been very, very good for that. But I knew that X was the place to go, and I wanted to reach out, see if anyone else had that similar streaming issue. It was something regional to my area, not necessarily national. And so I knew it had that base of customers that I could find quickly, and also the ability for the official handles to be able to be there, to be able to find resolution. And rightfully so. It did fix, shortly after I had posted. Others I know were complaining about the same issue, and the issue was resolved within about 5 or 10 minutes. So that's one of the reasons why I still find a lot of great value in using X for that reason.
When I feel like Twitter I feel like Threads or any of the others will have arrived when you start seeing their logo consistently on company web pages as a place to contact them, or as a place to go and get consistent, timely information about them.
I agree. I've been seeing if any of the companies are going to be, I guess, newly added to some of the lineup of, you got your, contact us on X, Twitter, contact us on Instagram, contact us on Facebook. The only new logo that I'm really seeing in big corporations everywhere is probably TikTok. I'm seeing a lot more of their logo, more so.
And that TikTok is something I wanted to bring up as far as Jeff's comments about new platforms and evolution. And I'm not sure that TikTok is a great example of an evolution gone right, but it's definitely an evolution.
Mhm.
But that's my humble opinion. So, guys, I wanted to touch on one more thing, and it's something Brian brought because I thought it was just very, very interesting. And that is how tech companies make their money. And Brian, I'll let you talk a little bit about it because I thank you so much for bringing this. I feel like it's something everybody should just pay attention to so they understand things a little bit better.
Oh, sure. That's the resources from Visual Capitalist, and Visual Capitalist is great. I use it quite frequently, explaining economic concepts. Sometimes it can be difficult to understand. They do a great infographic style on their products, and this particular one was called Big Tech $1 Billion Blueprints, and it brought in some of the largest tech companies and kind of broke down where their revenue comes from, and then on the side it shows the revenue by region, and it's kind of interesting how what percentage of revenue comes in from the U.S. versus different areas around the globe. So, for example, if we look at Apple, revenue by region, the Americas make up 41.9%. So, a very big chunk. When you look at the chart that shows what products make up that, the largest, of course, unsurprisingly, would be iPhone at over 52%. But it's interesting to kind of take a look at some of the other areas. And when I was looking at it, even considering, which areas are new, and then even extrapolating the billions of dollars of what that percentage makes up of, how that some of those products or services didn't even exist, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'll have links in the show notes to that, along with everything else we've talked about, but also, and I've put that in the chat room. I think it is enlightening. Even if you already knew most of it, or even if you know all of it, it's still a great visual representation. Folks, thank you so much. This has been a great, great holiday party. We got through a lot of articles. Brittany, you said 18 articles. I don't think it was quite that many, but we got through everything.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, when we put our minds to it, we can do it. Or not. Okay, Webb is abusing me in the chat room. So I want to go around the room and let folks know where they can find you, and then we'll get out of here for the holiday season. And so suddenly, Brian Flanigan-Arthurs has moved up into the corner of the Angels. So Brian, you with the candy cane tie get to tell us where they can find you.
All right, you can find me as long as you're not frustrated with me and celebrating Festivus and airing grievances against me. You can find me. Mastodon would be the best place. Brian8944 at mastodon.cloud.
Thank you, Brian. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Same to you.
Jeff Gamet, thank you so much for being here. It's fun as always, no matter what you do. It's always entertaining. Where can we find you?
Chuck, I really do appreciate how incredibly tolerant you are of me. You could easily at any point during the show said, I'm turning the show around and we're going home. And it would have been totally reasonable for you to do that. Anyhow, thank you. All right. So social medias, Mastodon, Instagram, Threads. I am Jay Gamet. I'm Jay Gamet pretty much everywhere. Then shows. Here I am on In Touch with iOS on Tuesday. No. What's this one? This is the Mac thing, right? MacVoices.
Yes.
Right. In Touch with iOS. That's the one that Dave Ginsburg does on Thursdays. And Dave is incredibly tolerant of me as well. And then on the British Tech Network, the Big Show and the Mac Show. So that's Thursdays and Fridays. And Brian Chaffin and I do the Context Machine.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Ben Roethig, thank you so much for being here as always. Where can folks connect with you and your very festive background?
Well, Chuck, you can find me on social media at Ben Roethig. You can find my writings on roethig.tech. On Thursdays, you can find me on In Touch with iOS with Mr. Dave Ginsburg. Good God, Brittany, you just derailed me. Typically on Thursday and Friday, you can find me on the British Tech Network. And of course, every Tuesday, you can find me here on MacVoices.
Thank you, Ben. Hope you have a great holiday.
You as well, Chuck.
King James Ray, thank you so much for being here.
Wait, no, you're supposed to bow to me.
Well, but we appreciate you doing the reciprocity thing. Where can folks connect with you, Jim?
I'm going to say again this week, go to artisanalsoftwarefestival.com, which is officially opening on Thursday, the 21st. And I'm looking at the test website that it looks like there's going to be 18 different Mac programs that are all going to be available for 25% off, including Panorama. So check that out.
Is that it?
You could Mastodon ProView Jim at techhub.social, but I've been saying that for like a year and no one's contacted me and said, hey, I saw you on MacVoices, so maybe I need to move to Threads.
Okay, so that's a challenge, folks. So if you're on Mastodon, get on there and say hello to Jim so he knows he's loved and that Mastodon is really a viable platform.
Oh, it's viable. I just,
or they're going to lose. They're going to lose.
I haven't heard from any MacVoices.
Okay, there it is, folks. There's a challenge. Jim, have a great holiday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Brittany Smith, thank you so much for coming, since you could not get your microphone hooked up and everything, but you sounded great. You look great. Where can folks connect with you?
Places to connect with me. Let's go with video platforms. I am ADD Liberator on TikTok and on YouTube. YouTube has more of the tech-focused things, but much of the content does overlap these days because, that's what year it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Britt. Hope you all have a great holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Somehow David Ginsburg was bad and Santa demoted him, so he's in the basement on my screen. Dave, I don't know what happened, but where can folks connect with you?
Darn Mac, it crashed on me. You can find me on In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com and on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm on here on the Mac Show here on Tuesdays. The Mac Show is on Fridays, but we're on hiatus until the new year. And here, of course, on Tuesdays. And Mastodon, DaveG65 at mastodon.cloud. Thanks, John.
Great. Have a great holiday, Dave. Thanks so much.
As well. Thanks.
So the question was just asked in the chat room, our private chat room, when's the next MacVoices live recording? And if everybody's up for it, we'll just be back here next Tuesday to talk about maybe what we got for Christmas or what our holiday activities were. We'd love to have you join us. Everybody up for it? Anybody up for it?
I am.
Yeah,
I think I can be here.
Okay.
Hey, Boxing Day special for all our non-American friends.
Okay. Good point, Jeff. So
that's
Boxing.
Ben.
Sorry, Ben. Jeez. But Boxing Day will, because of the time zone situation, will probably be almost over by then. So anyway, and Webb and Eric, who are both Mac Voices live regulars, are in the chat room tonight. They couldn't be here tonight, but happy holidays to you both. It's great to see you, at least in text, if not in person, as well as everyone else in the chat room. Thank you so much for being here. It's always great to see you and have your commentary running alongside all the pretty pictures on my screen. This is Mac Voices Live. We do it Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are, right here, youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And we will be back next Tuesday, the day after Christmas, to talk about whatever has happened then, because the way things are going may be a pretty hot news time. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices each month. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.